So the long-awaited Near protocol for a lot of people is coming. The prediction. You probably see on the title and the thumbnail. However, me, right now, I've not decided what the thumbnail is because I've never really looked to see where Near protocol can go. Even though I'm a holder, even though it is my third largest altcoin bag, I still think buying where it is right now, going to all-time high, is still fantastic value. I haven't really looked beyond there, so it's a bit of a surprise for me. If you're new, subscribe, hit the bell button, hit the like button, all that kind of good stuff, because as you can see here, I have had a lot of requests for Near protocol. It's been ridiculous. Anyways, other price predictions, I just want to go over it quickly. I've done a few random things, okay? I know some of them look really grabbing, but I use fundamentals, but I use really simple technical analysis using Fibonacci and key levels to maybe see where potentially we can go. Quite often in cryptocurrency, the Fibonacci is pretty important. When you break above all-time high, for example, you need an area where it goes. Sometimes they go to certain areas when you look at previous cycles, and I do have a little blueprint that I am going to be writing out on my Patreon very, very soon, which explains what I look for in investments. Might be worth looking at because I do mention it a lot and people get confused. Don't get confused by the fact of a new project being really good. I often say that it's not. A project with a little bit of time in, but also released at a bad time, is really powerful in cryptocurrency due to network effect. Anyways, let's get into it. An operating system for an open web. It's not just a layer one this, it's a lot more meaty, and you can see the fact that it aims to become a blockchain operating system for Web3 is relatively huge. I really like this asset. I've liked it for a while. I believe that I missed the opportunity in the first cycle, and I was staggered at what happened with the fallout with FTX and all the kind of the VC funds. Near protocol presented us with a fantastic opportunity to buy, and I was buying it, right? So overall, I'm looking to buy more, and I do rate the fact that this is one of the, probably the only real obvious one that's kind of not an Ethereum virtual machine asset, essentially, right? It's a little bit different, so I like that idea. But again, looking through, there's a whole load of information. I'm not going to do any fundamentals, just going to do price predictions, but it's all here. But again, you've got some information about blockchains and how it all works, and obviously why Near protocol could be something for Web3 that could be of massive interest in the future. There's also other videos on YouTube and all the core concepts of the, oh, that's not working, help, but you get the idea, right? Technical description, there you go, it works now. Technical descriptions, anyone? Yeah. Anyways, let's talk about it. Let's go into the details. Now, the one thing I want to talk about first before we go into the obvious is the price and its correlation between a lot of VCs kind of boom. Yeah, you get the idea, right? Now, problem lies with obviously greed, obviously contributions from small backers, large backers, etc. But a lot of them are now dribbled out, which is good. Most of these rewards are now operation grants, core contributions, community grants, and the staking rewards. So all the other stuff doesn't matter anymore, right? Realistically, when you think about it, there's only a little bit of small and large backers, which I believe runs out. Well, there you go. It literally stops there. So it will stop in October. So that's pretty good. And then when you move over, it's only the top bits, which is really, really good. So you could probably argue a lot of the sell-off's gone, which is good. But in terms of price, it doesn't look good. I know it doesn't look good. I know little Willy Wombat in the comments going, oh, but it's dead. Yeah, doesn't look great. However, hasn't been around very long. It came out when the market really started to turn up, but in terms of its development and its fundamental elements to it, a lot of stuff has been released, a lot of things have changed, the network effect has grown, and it's looking relatively strong. Now, mentioned it before, the FTX fallout was one of the biggest things that happened to this, and it really did lump. It went from $3 down to literally $1.20-ish. It's pretty bad. I was buying and accumulating my bags around these points here when it was absolutely melting. I was thinking, I want Near protocol. This went to $20, it's now $3. And it went down to $2.50 and I bought a little bit. Went down to like $1.50, I bought a lot more. And yeah, it's just been crazy. So my average order in this is about $170-ish. So I'm not perfect, but I am looking to buy more. But let's talk about in terms of where this can go. Now, again, we talk about the most obvious thing in the world. Will it ever go to all-time high? Maybe. But if it does, it's a nice little gain. That's kind of obvious, right? Pretty much a 15x. Lovely. Definitely possible. But this can go much further, in my opinion. I think this can go much further. And I want to kind of showcase that. Now, in terms of this, as always, if you know these videos, you'll know roughly what I'm going to do. But for the people that haven't watched this before, and if you're new, I do not want to go from this one. I want to go from the previous kind of level. But if you want to do it in real term, you can do it from the high to low. But for me, this is the high. Why? Because we've already had a massive meaty correction we pulled up. Now, it's not going to change the effect much in terms of going from this wick to this body. It's up to you. But overall, when we look at the grand scheme of things, this is kind of what we're looking at. It kind of makes more sense. But either way, it's subjective, right? So with the fact of the market kind of corrected from this point and we melted all the way down, we've got a long way to go. Now, in my opinion, I think we've got a long way to go. Now, $1.14 was kind of the low here in June 2023. $8 could be one of the big levels, but there's also a potential level here, a key level, which we need to identify. So we can kind of just draw an area around here, which is roughly around the $5 mark, which when you put it all the way across, it kind of becomes very, very obvious. When you look at like the fact of resistance and support levels, it's kind of huge. But again, there's also another level here where we absolutely got decimated, right? We just literally died from that point, essentially, which is not great. But reality is we've got to look at these levels. If we don't look at these levels, we're not going to get an understanding of where we can actually see where levels of resistance is and maybe to bug out, because you may want to get some profit, because even though we're here and that's gone up to there and that's gone up there, still 4x up to there. It's like, ooh, okay, cool. Some people, that's quite a lot, especially if you're playing with bigger cap coins, which is this is what it is essentially, right? Now, overall, I would be looking to target much higher levels. Now, this is a weekly time frame. Go down to the three-day time frame. You can see a lot more noise and congestion around this $12.60, which is 618. Same with the 50% map. There's a lot of stuff here. I know you can't really see that much, but there we go. You can see that there's a lot of support and resistance here and here, but also here. The Fibonacci on this is absolutely really clear cut. It's kind of obvious where price has kind of stopped. So again, we're going to use those levels as kind of obvious regions to go, well, you know what? If this price does fall to these sort of levels, I'm pretty damn happy, because the reality is when you hit these levels, there's going to be a reaction. There may be buy orders coming in. Order blocks may be formed, i.e. if a price breaks above a certain level, it may well then go and retrace and correct to it, and institutional money may well be put into those areas of substance from the past, and they may well send it higher. So you've got to look at that sort of factor, but we need to get there first, right? We need to get to these certain levels. So this is a time to buy. It's kind of obvious. Now, what you guys are probably looking for and wondering, well, where can it go in the future? Well, yeah, I'd be happy with a $12 or $15. I'm not going to lie. In terms of my position size and what I've got, I'll be very, very happy there. But I know people want more, as always. So if we look further into the future, $24 is one of the first extension levels, which isn't too far away, realistically. And you think about it in terms of the grand scheme of things, if this flies above here, $24, that isn't too bad. What about a bit higher, $31? Possible. I've seen some ridiculous things, and here is some YouTube thumbnails to kind of show you what people say about NIA. But you've also got the bigger ones. The 2618 is pretty meaty, $50. $50. Now, that significant level is quite common in crypto, right? Realistically, in terms of cycles, this level and that level is often the one that sometimes, you know, if it's strong enough, it'll go up to it. Because when you think of the mathematics behind it, which sounds mental, I know, but going from here to there, it's only a 60% move, right? If you were buying there, obviously. So it's not massively far-fetched when you think $31 to $50 isn't mad. But when you were buying at $1 levels or $2, whatever it may be, it sounds massive. For every $1.20 that the price moves up, for example, current price is roughly right now, well, guess what? That's going to be a multiple. You've already made another 10x, literally, which is probably going to be quite scary to a lot of people. So yeah, $50 looks pretty tasty. But we can go much higher, obviously, in terms of predictions. But I'm not going to go too mental because people get very, very excited. But you just never know with this crypto market. It's pretty crazy. So for me, I will be looking to bug out at little areas around $24 and definitely around the $30. So I probably would round that up to 25 and 30 just to make it kind of simple. But the reality is I probably will be taking some money off the table here because of the run. But that doesn't mean all of it. That just means like 10% just to secure the bag, to enjoy something in life because I've made some money from buying early. Don't sell all your bag too early because it gets a bit destructive. Now, if we're going to look at the obvious, what does this translate to? Well, if we're looking at a $25, sorry, that's an 18x and a $23.5 billion asset. Is a $23.5 billion asset really like far-fetched? Well, considering BNB is 36.9 right now, and that was much higher in the previous cycle, XRP currently, right? You can see that some of these levels are pretty huge. Now, even if it goes to Cardano levels at $10, that's at 10 billion, sorry, at $10.80, that's still a huge gain. But remember, Cardano was worth, what, 74 billion in the previous cycle? And that would be still roughly nowhere near that level. So that's interesting. If we're looking at $30, that's 28.3. That's a 22x from that point. But again, mentioned it before, $50. Can we see a $47.1 billion asset as an operating system in Web3 as a blockchain? Layer 1? Potentially. It's possible. That could be a 37x. That could be an absolute monster run. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but let's just say if you did have, like, say, even 1,000 near protocol at that point, and its current worth is $1,300, roughly £1,000, that could be worth 50,000 in the future if it hits that level. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to happen. That's not financial advice. That's just kind of mathematical probability. But what annoys me is when people go onto YouTube and they start to do the biggest price predictions to try and say and pull the wool over your eyes and say it's going to go to $250 because it can, because market cap. Usually liquidity is going to be a problem, but you're never going to see this in one cycle go to that. If it does, I'll eat my hat. I will go and eat a hat downstairs. By the way, talking of hats, I found my hats. If you know the channel, I used to wear a hat. If we reach 100,000 subscribers, I will probably wear it a lot more often for a bit of banter. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. But yeah, please don't be fooled by people's thumbnails. They've got to be realistic. They've got to be obvious levels. They've got to be something of substance. Now, I know I talk about it. This is just a Fibonacci level, but they do have some significant performance enhancing elements to them because it is a massive factor for market makers to look at to see where they can get out. People put order blocks there. People sell at these points. People get FOMO at these high levels, and they will just look at these extension levels and go, well, I'm going to sell now. It's an easy way for market makers to make money. Anyways, I'm done. See you later.